I've spoken many times about Loop News. They're coming up again. I think I've posted 4 times this week. That was from last year, previous year, 4 years ago. But the mainstream media has just put out Loop News. You can't make this stuff up and not laugh. The story ran today, quote, "$1 million bounty is being offered for the capture of the Al-Qaeda leader Osama bin Laden," or the son of. Osama bin Laden, now 30, dubbed the Crown Prince of Jihad, has been the subject of speculation for years, with reports of him in Pakistan, Afghanistan, or under house arrest in Iran. Oh dear, you have to throw the ball in. The most widespread surveillance system globally, and they can't track one kid, really. In a statement, the US State Department told the newspaper the Justice Program is offering a reward of $1 million for information leading to the identification or location in any country of Al-Qaeda. Just go and ask Langley, they'll tell you. Key leader Osama bin Laden. Osama bin Laden is the son of the deceased former Al-Qaeda leader Osama bin Laden, and is emerging as a leader in the Al-Qaeda franchise. Well, it's a franchise now. I thought it was a terrorist organisation. And here's the key thing, or the repeater. Since August 2015, 4 years ago, he has released audio and video messages on the internet calling for his followers to launch attacks against the United States and its Western allies. Just like his dad sits in a sand bunker in the middle of nowhere in a desert where there's no Wi-Fi, and released video messages. Yeah, right. And he's threatened attacks against the United States in revenge for the May 2011 killing of his father by US service members. And and here's the final piece. And last August, just to give Americans a nice reminder, let's feed the trauma, let's trigger Americans. Last August, Hamza bin Laden married the daughter of Mohammed Atta, the lead hijacker in the 9/11 terror attacks. Loop News at its finest. Just change the names around, change the dates a bit, and throw it all in again. So now there'll be another hunt for bin Laden that didn't take place the last time. Because bin Laden died in December 2002 of kidney failure. Oops. Funny enough, one of the people who went to see him when he was on his deathbed, because he was a good friend of his, was Donald Rumsfeld. If he was such a terrorist, why didn't Mr. Rumsfeld arrest him? This next piece was posted this week, and it comes right out of the land of fantasy and delusion that is prevalent in their blogs. And yes, it's the RV World blogs, a fake 800 numbers again, where everyone turns up in Reno, all full of hopium, and it's all happening 2 or 3 times a week, and yet, surprisingly to them, it doesn't. Intel Dinar Chronicles is a deep state site designed to keep everyone waiting and doing nothing. It also makes what was once a human with some intelligence into something who under normal circumstances would be institutionalized, but it not. So here's the latest claims of the short bus crew, and my responses to each one. All Social Security recipients will receive $2,500 per month in 30 days after Nasara. So that equates to $250 billion a month and $3 trillion a year for those people, which is more than the GDP of every country around the world except America, China, Japan and Germany, just for Social Security payments. These people are stupid. All income taxes collected will be refunded and fines and fees in 60 to 90 days after Nasara. Have these people even inquired whether the IRS holds that amount to repay it anymore? The figures we know suggest no. But these people just don't care, they just throw it all out. And everyone goes, woo. It gets worse. Healthcare, education, and here's the classic, and the right to pursue our dreams will be the government's responsibility. Yes, you heard that right. Really, they haven't thought this out too much, have they? Or they just think everyone's stupid who reads it. The right to pursue our dreams is the government's responsibility. Oh dear. All PP funds recipients, I presume that's prosperity packages, will receive $25 million in a trust after receiving a letter via mail carrier. Good luck with that. I've waited four months for a USPS package. Or it'll come via the military. Yeah, hope it doesn't go via Fort Bragg. They'll just take it all. Or the Norfolk, Virginia site, SSP, or Wright-Patterson, SSP, because they'll just siphon it. Or light courier, whatever that means. Signing will activate the non-disclosure and trust. People will then be required to call, make an appointment at the bank and spend about 45 minutes doing paperwork. In 30 days, a new prosperity fund will be available to join, and they will follow this sequence of steps until all of us are millionaires. 25 million each. Be sure to leave some money in the trust, they say, to keep it open, as the next instalment, undisclosed amount, follows the first. The prosperity funds will finance the humanitarian programs available with a proposal to improve our world. Fine. Have you ever heard of such insanity thinking as this? $25 million each, that's $825 trillion for Americans only, based on 330 million Americans. 825 trillion. To inject volumes of any levels of funds, you have to balance it with an asset to support it, or the whole economy collapses, and so your $1 million note will be worth less than $1 within the first 5 minutes of 825 trillion being placed into the system. These people are beyond stupid. But it gets worse. The San Germain Trust has $400 quadrillion, as does the Kuan Yin's Trust. Ooh, all Chinese, all very elders. And a total of 800 quadrillion. Kuan Yin. Kuan means when, and Yin means dark. Think about that. So when does the dark happen? Oh, 2 weeks then. Kuan Yin is often referred to as the goddess of the Southern Sea or the Indian archipelago. There are temples all over China dedicated to this goddess, and she is worshipped by women in South China more than the north, and on the 19th day of the 6th, 2nd, 6th and 9th moons. So what we have here is a dark female from India now being worshipped in China. Sound familiar? Doing moon rituals. After last week's show, Kali Ma goes to China, does she not? Quan is also a derivative of Khan, which is also a derivative of Cohen. It is said sometimes she is represented as possessing 11 heads. How and why someone with 11 heads is an object of worship, I'll... oh dear. I do wonder what we're saving on this planet at times. I really do. The San Germain Trust, for the 1000th time, doesn't and has never, ever existed. Period. no matter which half-wit says so. I personally have seen all the trusts, 6,500 of them, and none of them said Saint-Germain. For those who are mathematically challenged, which the people in the RV world clearly are, the global GDP is currently 80 trillion. That's 80 followed by 12 zeros. And these goons think we should add into the system 800 followed by 15 zeros. 1 quadrillion is 1,000 trillion. And the global GDP of what everyone around the world spends is 80 trillion. Tell me how that's going to work. And they said they're going to finance equitable housing, fine. Clean water, fine. Sewage and infrastructure around the world, which is what the Man of World Holding Trust is already trying to do, and in some cases has. We're going to get 3D printers, computers and robotics, which will be accomplished within a year. Except 3D printers have been out for a while. Further down they mentioned about replicators. If everyone's getting a 3D printer and a replicator, as this clown article states, why would they need 25 million in a trust? What are you going to spend it on if you've got a 3D printer and a replicator? There you go again, Thomas, talking common sense. You have to stop it. There will be many projects to enhance life in the beautify Mother Earth. But given everyone with a materialistic mindset, $25 million, would that not destroy it? Not enhance it? There will be elections 120 days after the interim government replaces the corporate US. Yeah, Drake said that back in 2011. Disclosure announcements will follow NASARA in 30 to 60 days. NASARA funds is for American farmers' compensation only. It was never the general public. They carry on. Banks will be closed from 3 to 7 days to become Basel 3 and 4 compliant. Basel compliant. Oh, you mean the Rothschilds compliant? Basel's in Switzerland, and who owns Switzerland? The Rothschilds. Who owns all the banks in Switzerland? The Rothschilds. And these goons think that a Basel compliant is going to fix things. What happened or changed with Basel compliant 1 and 2? Nothing. The RV and the GCR are ready for the auspicious moment with funds in all the banks. Not happening. Financially impossible. To these idiots, please show where the 4.5 quadrillion in actual physical assets are available to support this venture. And that's only the starting point. 4.5 quadrillion in assets is 3 to 4 planets worth of assets. Not one. Homes, offices, vehicles will run on unlimited 0-point electrical space energy. Fine. How's it going to be accomplished? Well, you never thought of that. How will the oil or utility companies react to that? How will the hundreds of thousands of people who will lose their jobs overnight, how will you accommodate them? Didn't think of that, did you? Radionic devices and herbs will replace many conventional practices to heal all conditions. Question, will the herbs be organic or will they be all GMO like most of the new pot industries? Again, didn't question that, did you? After contact, presume that's ET contact, in 6 to 8 months, second wave technologies including anti-gravity cars that teleport. We've already had contact, so why haven't we had all these so-called new tech? Replicators, body adjusting breads, multimedia, holodecks and beam ships, 7 minutes to any star or galaxy. Good luck with that. Machine world. And in case you did not know, travelling in tin cans is outdated tech. In 12 to 14 months after contact, we will spend 3 days in the light chambers and 7 days, 7 to 10 days in training. Which light? The Lucifer chamber? After all, he is the light bringer, or so we're told anyway. 7 days training for what? How to spend our $25 million trust fund whilst having replicators and 3D printers. Or haven't you worked that out yet? If we have replicators and 3D printers, why would we need money? All of this is the same loop news rubbish that was put out by Drake and Wilcock back in 2011. There have been 208 two-week periods since then, and jack shit of the above has happened in 8 years. It's all coming. It never. The majority of the above is based in pure fantasy. Even the things that are valid and a good possibility is made in a thinking process by people who clearly have no idea how anything works or operates on this planet. None. And if we're going to really fix this planet, we will and have to come up with several solutions that match realistic goals with rational thinking, not retarded levels of non-thinking as shown above. Reality-based thinking, not delusional.